You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jermaine Pennant, has moved our attention to Newcastle now. Been involved in the transfer sagas this week. To take us through all the latest, we have Lee Lawler from Newcastle Fan TV. Right, Lee?
Hello, lads. How are you doing, Harry?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Your football club is in the papers quite a lot right now because you have got probably one of the best strikers in Europe. Liverpool are trying to, get Ekitike as well. You're trying to sign him. What's going on? Tell us, give us the insight.
I think that Liverpool just want to rock the boat a little bit, don't they? So
Feels
look,
like
I think it's more important that we. If you ask me the question, who would you rather have, Alexander Isak or Hugo Ekitike? All Newcastle fans are going to say Isak. So from what it looks like, that's the positive that's come out of this, that Isak looks like, he's still got 3 years left on his deal. It looks like Liverpool have only just put an inquiry in there, but they've kind of turned around and said, well, if you're not going to give us Isak, we're going to go after your number one target, which looks like it's Hugo Ekitike. So looks like Newcastle have lost out on yet another player again.
Well, you guys can breathe a little bit of fresh air as Liverpool have agreed personal terms with Ekitike. It's all about now if they can strike a deal with Frankfurt. So I think Isak's going to be safe and it's going to be a Magpie still this season. But obviously next season...
Well, look, everyone's going to keep wanting him.
Yeah. If he keeps on doing what he's doing, then yeah.
Who'd you go for now then, Lee, though? Because if you lose out on Ekitike, who's the man?
For me, I would turn the attention Benjamin Cesco's banging the goals in, young lad in the Bundesliga. I know we've been linked to Johan Vissa recently, and look, he's probably the wrong age for us. Yes, he'll be a lot cheaper, 30 million. What he's got left, 1 year left on his deal. He'll do a job for us. He's a good player. Scored more goals than Brian and Wemmer, to be fair, but he can play anywhere across the front three. I think, look, we're desperate for another striker because obviously Callum Wilson's departed the club and he was injury prone, and Will Asula's not quite ready to take that mantle on. So it only takes one injury to Isak and we're in crisis. So for me, I would put all the money towards Benjamin Cesco, but I wouldn't be against Vissa coming because I'll understand that, look, whoever comes in is going to play a second fiddle to Isak, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. But I don't know if Eddie Howe can, he might play a bit of a 4-4-2. Do you see him doing that?
It's not really Eddie Howe. I mean, he might tweak it during the games and stuff, if we're drawing a game or we need an extra goal. I can see that, but it'll be very surprising because he never changes from having one striker up top and then Gordon on the left and Murphy, maybe Alanga now on the right and three midfield. I just can't see that changing from the off. But I'm there to be surprised and I hope he does this season because the Champions League's back, so...
Champions League's back, you need a squad.
Yeah, speaking about the Champions League, we saw, last year when you was in the Champions League, the squad depth, it kind of took a lot out of the team and you kind of faltered also in the Premier League at times. What do you feel about the direction the club is going? Obviously, failing to get Ekitike rather than going back in with another bid and Liverpool now looking like more favourites to go and get him. Does it come down to lack of the spending the transfer window as the PPSR? Is that still hindering you guys?
Yeah, definitely. Look, if you ask me the question, you've won a trophy in your back in the Champions League. We're all taking that, aren't we? We've been crying on for a trophy for years upon years. It's well documented. So now we're back in the Champions League. Look, we're in the market where we're not having to scrimp and scrape, like loan signings anymore. We've passed that, and now we're trying to get and compete with the likes of Liverpool targets, Chelsea targets, Man City targets, Spurs, all the greedy six, as I call them. We're in that market now, and yes, we haven't got the financial power because we're only been competing for since Eddie Howe's come in, and he's improved so many players, and that's what he's had to do. He's had to buy young, ambitious players and develop them on the training pitch. And look, we can't go out and spend 200 million on a striker like Liverpool might come in for Isak next 12 months or whatever. Or, you look at Florian Wirtz that they've signed. We can't compete with that kind of transfer fee and the wages as well. So we have to develop them.
Yeah, it's good. Who else do you go for? Because I look at the strength of the squad, and you've got a good squad. You've got some good players. The bench, I thought, last season was a bit of an issue. You can bring in Ekitike and, that's going to bolster it. But where else? Do you need is Nick Pope good enough?
Do you know what? There is some debate about James Trafford coming in, and I think Pope would be all right for another season. I don't think it's oh my God, we need another goalkeeper situation. I think he's all right. I think and Dubravka's number 2. I'm okay with that. I think, look, we've got an age in defence. You can have Trippier, Fabian Schär, and Dan Burn had the season of his life last season. But if you look at the ages, they're on the wrong side now. And I think you probably need a right centre back. And we've been linked to Mark Gahey. the young lad Giorgio Scalvini from Atlanta, who are very much like him. Sean Longstaff looks like he's heading out Leeds. Do you go and replace that? That's PSR, so we can reinvest in that and spread it over a longer contract. So for me, you've got to get a striker and probably a right centre-back. I would worry about the goalkeeper maybe in 12 months' time.
Yeah, do you know what's an interesting one is that you went in for Margay for 70 million and now he's definitely available at cut price, knowing, he's not signing a new contract. Is it not frustrating? You're talking about you need a right-sided centre-back and that you have not got back in the market, almost half price. You could get him for close to 45 million now rather than paying 70.
Well, ironically, he's linked to Liverpool as well. So, I mean,
we're like your Real Madrid.
I know everyone's just taking our players that we want. So, I mean, even Chelsea took João Pedro off us. So, look, I think Guéhi, he's only got 1 year left on his deal. You've got to, it's not worth the 70 million, of course not, because he's let his contract run down. But Mark Guéhi will turn around and say, look, I'm captain of the club. I won a trophy in the back in Europe, and we're not getting in that debate which competition they're going to play in. But Mark Guéhi, for his England career, I think he's ready for that next move. And Palace don't want to lose him for nothing, but go back in for him, test the ambition. Yeah. Especially if we get Vissa, which is less money than what Ekitike would cost. You can go and put that money down for Mark Guéhi and bring him to the club.
Look, what's the ambition for next season for Newcastle? You won the Carabao Cup. You had a really good season. Do you think you can get to the next level? Is there ambition to win the Premier League? Do you think you can do that?
No, we're too far away from winning the Premier League. I think realistically for us as Champions League, once again, probably top 5 should get you Champions League with the co-efficiency if clubs do well in Europe. So for us, it's all about growing with commercial. Yes, we've won a trophy. We want to win more trophies, but as a club, we've got to start being able to compete. And I think Champions League football, season after season, is the next 2-3 years priority for me.
Well, if you do that, then that starts to help with the PSR as well. It's over 60 million, which, goes a long way. So I'm sure, that's probably Newcastle's now. His ambition is make sure they get Champions League football.
Yeah, I totally agree. It has to be Champions League football, and Eddie Howe will then have the money to spend, because you look at the last few transfer windows, we've not spent anything. So, and he's done a remarkable job to win us a trophy and get us back in the Champions League where other clubs are spending willy-nilly all around us. So he's done a great job. Love him to bits.
No, he's done unbelievable, to be fair to him. Fair play. Lee, you're a star, mate. Appreciate your time. Cheers, Lee.
Thank you very much.
All
Cheers,
right,
thank you.
All right, Lee Lauder there, Newcastle Fan TV.